Continues to be Colorado quarterback Shedeur Sanders falling to the Cleveland Browns in the 5th round. And yesterday the Browns released the moment when Sanders finally got the real phone call that he was waiting for. Take a listen.
We're going to take you off the board here, all right, brother?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
Hey, listen, you got to come in, you got to work hard, you got to earn your job, earn your keep. And it doesn't matter where you're taking, it matters what you do from this point forward, all right? Talented, spent a lot of time with you, you're a good kid. Let's get ready to go to work and improve all the past well.
I love it. The motivation. Cleveland, so fascinating. They also took Gabriel, of course, earlier in the draft in the 3rd round. So they're the first team to draft 2 quarterbacks within the first 5 rounds since Washington did it back in 2012 with a couple of guys you may have heard of, Robert Griffin III and the aforementioned Kirk Cousins. Deshaun Watson continues to rehab from that torn Achilles. Cleveland also signed 40-year-old Joe Flacco, and they traded with the Eagles for Kenny Pickett. And then there's this. Jordan Reed released his way too early first-round mock draft for 2026 on ESPN.com. The Browns are going to have a pair of first-round picks next year, and believe it or not, Jordan has the Browns trading to get the #1 pick and take Clemson quarterback Cade Klubnik. I mean, I don't know about you, but that's a total of 5 quarterbacks on the roster. We got rookie training camp beginning next week, so a couple of them will be in action. D. Woody, how should they handle this?
Well, Hannah, listen, I would, if I'm Kevin Stefanski, my focus would be on the 2 drafted players. We know what Joe Flacco is, and we know what Kenny Pickett is. We know in 2026 they have 2 first-round picks. So I think for the Cleveland Browns, the priority should be trying to find out if one of these 2 rookie quarterbacks could be your long-term solution. Kevin Stefanski is one of the best play callers in the National Football League, and so I think both these guys will have a great opportunity to really try to establish themselves this year and this year only.
Kind of, that's right. Like Joe Flacco's kind of like the Damian Woody of this show. You're going to have to load manage him because obviously he can't get through the whole season the way this guy can't get through the whole show. I digress. But I'm all in on Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders, and for 2 reasons. One, we just drafted them. Let's see what they can do. I think they're both, for different reasons, a good fit in this offense. But more fundamentally, Cleveland did an outstanding job, guys. They got Jacksonville's #1 pick. When you're picking in the top 5 and you have a franchise quarterback, you have a massive amount of needs. I love Travis Hunter. I hate the value of that trade for Jacksonville. Cleveland very well could have a top 5 pick, Hannah. You have to know what you have in those 2 quarterbacks so you can make the best decisions for 2026 and beyond.
Right. I mean, going into camp, right? But it's going to start next week because we're going to see those 2 rookies. But, Mina, when you look at sort of the breadth, really the 4 available quarterbacks, we're not counting Deshaun Watson. Obviously, he's not playing. Who's the best fit under center, do you think, for them in week 1 right now?
Well, I don't know yet, but I think what the Browns have to figure out is of this group, and I agree with Damian, by the way, I think the focus should be the young quarterbacks. Who fits the offense? Usually when there's a rookie quarterback, we say, okay, what kind of offense can they build around this quarterback tailored to his skill sets, Cam Ward, Jackson Dart? But that's not how I feel about the Browns. I think we know what this Browns offense is going to look like. It's going to be run first. They drafted 2 running backs, by the way, both of whom I like a lot. In Judkins and Dylan Sampson. And then they also added a tight end, Harold Fanta Jr. There's going to be a lot of multiple tight end sets. It's Kevin Stefanski's offense, going to be a decent amount of under center, play action. So I think for these quarterbacks, Sanders, Gabriel, Pickett, who can operate it? That's what I want to see. Who's better at executing play fakes, throwing on the move off of boots, handling those play fakes? Ball handling is part of this as well. Because I think for Cleveland, evaluating them through that lens is going to determine really who starts the most games for them this year.
I mean, this is just a pattern, right? Since returning to the NFL in 1999, the Browns have used 40 different starting quarterbacks. The most in the NFL. I'm sure that doesn't come as a surprise. Okay, including Shedeur Sanders, there were 6 quarterbacks drafted in the first 5 rounds this year, just 2 first-rounders. As you know, the Titans taking Cam Ward at #1 overall, the Jacksons trading up to get the Giants. I call them the Jacksons, the Giants. Maybe they will change their name after getting Jackson Dart. Ward joined Jim Kelly and Vinny Testaverde as the only Miami quarterbacks taken in the first round since the common draft era began. The Titans' Chigo Okonkwo talked about Cam Ward.
He just brings that element, of a dog.
you just got to dog in that position. I think, I've seen the video of, like the viral video of him and Shedeur training and stuff. And you just see the things he says, the way he carries himself. He just kind of has like all the intangibles that you want in that position.
Bro, they gave you a completion percentage award, and all you did was throw check downs and bubble screens. That's actually crazy. If I did that, my completion percentage would be 90.
Cam and Shedeur talking a little trash as Mikey T removes the glasses and gives us his take on what you know about Brian Callahan, how Ward fits into that offense.
Yeah, Hannah, I work with Brian's dad, Bill, at the Jets, and as Damian knows, being on those teams, attention to detail is critical. I think Cam Ward will play with that. Will Levis had 16 interceptions a year ago. I don't think that's going to happen with Brian Callahan. And the movement that Cam Ward has, I think will be great. On the boots, the rollouts, throwing on the move, I think will be a great fit. So I don't think Will Levis's career is over, but this is Cam Ward from day one. I think they will be massively improved. I think they'll be more explosive, and more importantly, he will cut down on turnovers.
Yep. Meanwhile, let's turn our attention to Tyler Shuck. He was drafted 40th overall to the Saints. Mina, with Kellen Moore now in charge there in New Orleans, how can he set up this quarterback for success?
Tyler Shuck's a really pro-ready quarterback. He's got a ton of arm talent, both in terms of strength and the ability to make throws off platform, different angles, excellent with RPOs, good throwing on the move. He's got nice athleticism. If he has a flaw aside of the age, it's that he struggles under pressure. So I think that's job one for Kellen Moore. What can you do to mitigate pressure and also to get Tyler Shuck to play faster, which factors into that? They drafted an offensive lineman in the first round, which I love for New Orleans, but some of this will also be through scheme as well. That's what he can do to help this young quarterback succeed.
Meanwhile, in Seattle, they draft Jalen Milroe in the third round. D. Woody, I know the Hawks signed Sam Darnold, obviously, this offseason. Milroe, though, is he ready to start?
No, Hannah, he's not ready to start. He still has some developing to do as a passer, things he needs to learn. But here's what he is. Walking into the National Football, he's one of the most explosive athletes at the quarterback position. And so you, as Seattle, you can create packages, for a guy like Jalen Milroe. And trust me, that right there creates headache for defensive coordinators, because that's something that you got to scheme and game plan for during the week. It takes away from actually preparing for Sam Darnold and the rest of the offense. So he'll automatically walk in and be an absolute threat running the football at the quarterback position, and that's going to add a different dimension to that Seattle Seahawks rushing attack.
Yeah, Geno Smith obviously at the helm there last year, and they addressed that. Drake May spoke earlier today. What'd you take away from the second-year QB there, Mike? And happy May.
Happy May, Hannah. Well, let's talk about Mike Vrabel, the first-year head coach, and how Drake May has noticed the impact that he has already made. Mike Vrabel said when he was first hired here, he wanted to galvanize this building, galvanize this team, and he's done so with May, who's noticed pop quizzes for players, or just Vrabel asking for more energy in the hallway. So he's taken note of the Vrabel effect.
It's been great with Coach. He's come in here, and it seems like he's been here a while. He's so comfortable being in head coach. Has done it before. He's done it at high level, won a lot of games. So I'm looking forward to getting things going. You can see he's trying to install the new identity, and I think we're building towards that. And I think it's coming here and have